Hello there, welcome back to my channel. If you are watching this video, perhaps you have an interest in Ayurveda, and today is a really great video for you because we are in Vata season. The air is crisp, it is fall, the winds are blowing, and this is all Vata. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to guide you through some basic characteristics of Vata Dosha, how you can recognize if you have a Vata body type or a Vata imbalance, a Vikruti, and just some basic lifestyle and dietary hacks that you can access right now to maintain balance or bring back into balance your Vata Dosha this season. So, and don't forget, before you end this video, to check the comments below because I have some resources for you down there, some Ayurvedic resources, a beautiful recipe guide for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Ayurveda. Please subscribe and share this video. But for now, let's get down with Vata Dosha. You ready? Let's get to it. So Vata Dosha is made of air and space. It is cold, rough, minute, subtle, and most important, it is mobile, and it has the ability to travel quickly throughout your entire body. Basically, Vata Dosha controls every single movement of your body. It is important for every aspect of your entire life. In fact, without Vata Dosha, there would be no life. And because it controls the movement, all your movements, it also controls the movements of your other two doshas, Pitta and Kapha. So this is why it's really important to make sure and try to maintain this balance of Vata, so you can also maintain the balance of all your other doshas. Now, because of this constant movement, Vata is often depleted of nourishment. So this is a really important time to be very intentional and mindful of some of the things that we're going to talk about today to nourish Vata's body, mind, and spirit. So let's get into describing some of these basic characteristics of Vata Dosha. If this is your Vata body type, you can think about not what's really going on now, but what your entire life has been like as far back as you can remember. So if what I'm mentioning is like, oh yeah, it's always been like that, or this is sort of my entire story, then perhaps most likely you have a Vata inherent dosha, your Prakruti. If this is what I'm mentioning now is more about kind of what's going on now, that's when we're going to talk about an imbalance in your Vata dosha, and that is your Vikruti. Recognizing a Vata body type means looking at the physical, but also looking at the gut and the mind health. So Vata is, the body frame is usually a thinner body frame. The features are smaller down to your pores. Hair is thinner, skin is even thinner and more fragile and more often drier than not, and even nails tend to be more brittle. On the gut level, Vata, an imbalance, is going to look like bloating, constipation, irregular bowel movements, or when you do have a bowel movement, they are pebble-like and dry and irregular. So Vata is basically irregular in so much when there's an imbalance. There's no consistency. At the gut level also, you will notice burping and belching. At the mind level with Vata dosha and an imbalance, seeing an imbalance in Vata dosha is worry, anxiety, fear, restlessness, an inability to sleep, an inability to really kind of gather your thoughts, or you're thinking about all kinds of different things. They're even keeping you awake at night, so the thoughts aren't focused. And also just an inability to retain information, so your memory is lacking. Some other characteristics of a Vata imbalance are tightness of chest or heart palpitations, ringing in the ears. These are definitely signs that it is time to ground your Vata, and this is the season to just start this practice before Vata starts accumulating, because what happens now is the accumulation stage. So Vata begins to accumulate, and then come early winter is when Vata, if you haven't really tended to it over here, it really is aggravated and overflowing, and we want to prevent that. So we want to prevent this accumulation by doing some of the things that I'm going to chat with you about now that are easy breezy. So let's get to it. So, being that your body is a reflection of what you think, how you live, what you eat, you can begin to ground Vata by a really focused, nourishing diet, some grounding routines, and practices in your lifestyle that are founded in more mindfulness. So, one of the things you can start doing now that is really like ideal for grounding Vata is to practice Abhyanga massage. And go ahead and watch my video and you can learn more about Abhyanga there. But basically, sesame oil is going to be your, sesame or almond, even avocado. These are very nourishing oils. Sesame also is warming, and Vata, if you remember, one of the qualities I mentioned earlier is cold. So sesame oil on the body, massaging the body to ground Vata. This is a routine that focuses you on what you're doing. And it's also very nourishing because in Ayurveda, the purpose of Abhyanga massage is to have that oil penetrate the skin. That is nourishing all of our tissues. And for Vata, it's grounding. It has heft to it. It has weight. Okay? So in Ayurveda, we would warm our oil. We would take a bottle of sesame oil and we would put it in some hot water and let it sit there and have a beautiful routine. However, I understand that there are a lot of you that don't have the time to do that. And Ayurveda is a modern science as well. It has stood the test of time over thousands of years. So even on the days that you don't have the time to perform this beautiful ritual and doing a full head to toe Abhyanga massage with your warm oil, well, just dip your toes in right now and have your oil. Don't warm it up and just start massaging your hands. Joints are, and cracking, I don't know if I mentioned that one, brittle joints are also a sign of Abhyanga, of Vata imbalance. So you can just start now to prevent that, or if you have that already, massaging your joints, massaging your hands, massaging your scalp, do your knees. Like just do a little bit now, and then little by little, you can elevate your practice. I will tell you from my own experience that Abhyanga is one of the most healing practices that you can ever do for really, I don't know about for anything. I just know from my own mind and physical pain and body and anxiety, Abhyanga is powerful. It is fantastic. And if you want to elevate the practice a little bit, even in that few minutes that you have, add some lavender oil or chamomile or a little orange or lemon essential oil to your sesame oil or your almond or avocado and do your massage with that. So that's one beautiful routine that you can practice right away. I recommend doing it in the morning, but if you don't have time, again, like find the time when it's going to work for you. So even if it's before bed and you're massaging your feet with that lavender oil, and that's all you can accomplish right now, by all means, do it, relish in it, and you go from there. The other practice that you can access right now is to eat foods that are easy on the digestion. Vata has a Agni, a digestive fire that is on and off. Like it is not, it's like a very low flame. Think of that fire as just like barely burning, and it can't take on a lot of heaviness, a lot of, those kind of foods that are just like they really weigh you down, but not in a good way. They need a lot of work to digest. So for Vata, you want foods that are easy to digest. Vata craves like soups and stews and porridges with like a healthy fat. Again, these healthy fats are going to anchor Vata and nourish the tissues, because the depletion from all that movement, we need that nourishment back, right? So on your yummy porridge, you can have a little bit of ghee with your oat milk or your regular milk, a little vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, and like a cooked apple. So raw and cold foods are not Vata friendly at all. They're very drying, and Vata's already dry. So cook your apple. A beautiful breakfast is take your apple, chop it up. I did this morning actually. Simmer it in a little bit of water with your milk. Put a little vanilla, kind of the same thing. A little cardamom, a little cinnamon, a little maple syrup is beautiful for Vata, and let that simmer, and you can have that cooked apple. It's delicious. Soft foods. Think a mashed sweet potato. Think your dal. If if you love like your, dal, your mung bean. And as far as other beans, black beans, pinto beans, chickpeas, those kind of beans, they're very drying, they're astringent. So for those of you that maybe are vegan or vegetarian or beans are part of your culture, I'm not going to tell you not to eat beans. Just prepare them in a way that perhaps Vata can really take them in, and try not to be consistent day after day with them this season. So how you prepare your foods in Ayurveda can make a huge difference. So if you have your beans, cook them down, get them soft, have the healthy fat in there, a little bit of salt to lubricate your tissues, okay? A little bit of sour element for Vata dosha to strengthen the tissues. Avoid your dry foods, your cereals, your crackers, your pretzels, your chips, and again, the cold foods, the salads, the raw juices, the smoothies. If you're gonna have these over here, it's once a week. It's not, again, if this is your habit, you really want to start including that warmth. As far as for mindfulness practice, one thing you can do that is involved in your food experience is even just looking at your food, looking at your plate as you're eating your food. We don't do that. We take our plate, we sit down, and we just start eating. Maybe we're looking at our phone or we're just looking into space. Look at your food and appreciate your food and say thank you to your food. This is very grounding for Vata. It slows Vata down. It slows down this restlessness up here. Okay, so look at your food, say thank you, chew your food, have appreciation for your food. And again, even if it's just 1 day a week, 2 days a week, as you're getting into this practice, it takes time to build a practice. But as long as you say to yourself, this is front of mind, this is what I want, and I'm gonna work toward this. So it starts here, very little, and it grows from there, and that's it. Have some grace, give yourself some self-compassion and some patience. Okay, this is very new for a lot of us. Okay, routines are in the Charaka Samhitas, the ancient Vedic texts of internal medicine. Charaka is the founder, the sage of internal medicine. Routines are preventative medicine, and routines are created for Vata dosha, primarily for grounding Vata in the morning during that 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. period. So before 6 a.m. Now, if you get up a little bit later, it doesn't matter. Just do something in the morning to ground you. And this is when you can do a little bit of self-massage, where you can cook your porridge and look at your food as you're cooking it and say thank you. Keep all the movement out, the phones and you have all day to do that. So try to find these nooks. This is how you can really ground your mind, is to find nooks throughout your day to disconnect from the noise and the movement. Again, the phone's off, the looking at your food, the mindfulness, the intention, the journaling. Okay, you're focused on what you're writing. You're doing one thing and you're finishing it. So these are just some of the practices and the habits that you can get in. Regularity and having like discipline is really important. So try to go to bed by 10 p.m. No TV or phone, an hour before bed. Make yourself a beautiful little evening latte with milk and a little bit of ghee and if you are vegan, your nut milk and a coconut oil and some cinnamon, a little vanilla, a little cardamom, and a little nutmeg to help you sleep and to help with your mind. So that's a beautiful drink, and you can take that in your bedroom and sit on your bed and massage your feet, and you have your yummy latte and maybe your journal, and you spent 5 minutes in that beautiful routine. So these are just some of the ways to recognize a Vata body type, a Vata imbalance, and to introduce you to some simple routines and practices that you can start to bring your Vata back into balance and also balance your other doshas as well. Vata is the leader dosha. Vata is the dosha that will make you or break you. You always want to tend to Vata and recognizing these imbalances and nipping them in the bud when you can. So Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson in Vata Dosha. I'm going to be sharing a lot more about Vata this season, so stay tuned for more videos. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Check out that Abhyanga massage video as well, and get those freebies below because I think you'll really appreciate them. And yeah, I'll see you next time.